recently, the Anthem singer for the Canucks was fired from the Canucks franchise when he shared that he was going to sing at an anti-mask rally. And so the big question we're all asking is, should this guy have lost his job because of what he's doing in his personal life? My name is Erin Brandt. I'm here with my business partner, Paula Krauss, and we are very excited to do our first video at Portel Law on this really controversial COVID-19 topic. So I'm going to ask you first, Paula, what do you think about this individual's attendance and participation at a leadership level at an anti-mask rally with respect to his employment with the Canucks?
Well, I've got sort of two different hats that I'll wear. One is sort of my personal hat and the other one is my lawyer hat. So I'm going to talk about the lawyer hat first. First and foremost, what comes into my mind is a safety issue. If an employee is known to have participated in a large gathering that goes against health regulations right now and while not wearing a mask, that to me is a health issue first and foremost. And an employer does have the right and the duty to regulate and maintain safety in the workplace. So if this employee was expected to normally come into work, interact with other colleagues, and just generally be in the workplace, then not having worn a mask at a big rally, I think, in my opinion, it attracts some sort of discipline. Whether that's dismissal, I don't think so. Dismissal for cause, at least. So on the health point, I think that this employee ought to have been, the right course would have been to warn them, get them to quarantine for 14 days, and then give them directions that they must be wearing a mask even in their personal time.
But I'm not sure that even a 14-day quarantine would solve it, because this individual appears to believe that masks shouldn't be worn generally. So how can an employer trust him that, fine, for this one event, he didn't wear a mask and he was in a big crowd, and so he should quarantine for 14 days before coming back. But how can the employer trust him that he's not generally doing these things in his personal life and generally putting all of his coworkers at risk for COVID-19?
I mean, there's no way, right? The employer doesn't have the right to probe into an employee's personal life to that extent. This situation was unique because I think the rally was marketed on Facebook or whatever, so it was very well known to the employer what this employee was going to be doing on their time off. I don't have an answer for you for that question. When there's a complete breakdown in trust, then that does bring up the question of whether there is just cause for dismissal.
For me, this really goes to the issue of off-duty misconduct, that he was, the argument is, well, this wasn't something he did at work, right? It was something he did in his personal life, as you've mentioned. But there is case law that where somebody does something on their own time that brings an employer's reputation into disrepute, that can justify dismissal. And so, obviously the Canucks franchise is sending a clear message that they support masking and they believe that COVID is a thing, and that they want to, publicly message that we should be adhering to safety, public health guidelines. And so having, a very public facing employee who is disregarding or disobeying or protesting those public health measures, potentially brings the Canucks franchise reputation into disrepute. And so, it could fall into this category of serious off-duty misconduct that strikes at the heart of the relationship. There's also this other issue, which is that the Human Rights Code protects against discrimination on the basis of political belief. And so is anti-masking, I don't think anti-masking is a political belief.
I honestly don't know what the tribunal would say on this matter, but that's one that really, even before the safety issue, the political issue really was the first one that came to my mind, because an employer cannot discriminate against you, and one of those ways is firing you because of a political belief. And so, if an employee says, I either don't believe in this health crisis, I don't believe the communications from the government, I believe that the government is taking an opportunity to undemocratically govern or control the population, that might be a sincerely held political belief that the tribunal and our human rights code are going to consider and protect.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with you. Which just, I think, signifies how nuanced these issues are and how complex these issues are that we're dealing with today at work. I think that whether or not there was just cause to dismiss him, I think that the Canucks franchise was in a fair position to let him go and pay him a fair severance package and just say, this isn't the right fit for us anymore. And it came out after the fact that he was kind of on his last string anyways, and this was kind of the final straw, that he was on his way out. So I support the Canucks decision to separate from this particular individual in these circumstances.
I would agree. I think that an organization that is at the forefront of, Vancouver culture, they have to take a stand on certain issues, and I think they did the right thing here too.
So those are our thoughts. We'd love to hear what you think. So please leave your comments below and definitely like our new YouTube channel. We'll see you soon.